my shredder on. So how do I do this? And they finally just sold me the console. So now I got a PS5, and now I can play some dope ass games.
Like Shredder's Revenge.
Shredder's Revenge.
Speaking of Shredder's Revenge, ladies and gentlemen, we have our guest of the week, special guest, Mr. Mega Ran.
What? Yeah.
What's up?
What's up, homie?
What's going on, fellas?
Chilling.
Oh,
how are you, man?
I'm great. So sorry I'm late, man. I was, picking up the baby, doing all types of things.
I literally said,
I got lost,
I was just like, taking
sauce.
care of being an adult, living the adult life.
Yeah. Adult life for me is getting drooled on and singing Encanto songs with a baby. But
Encanto, love it.
Yes. Oh man, I'm so jealous of these amazing displays behind you guys. I just took everything off my walls. I got an interior decorator friend helping me. Okay. So we literally took down every figure, poster, everything, and we're going to reset and redo my room somewhere. Oh. It'll hopefully be somewhat of a combination of you guys' amazing setups. I might need to screenshot this for some motivation.
By all means,
man.
Yeah,
this is just a mix of putting all of the toys into just one room that the wife allows me to have my office, while also trying to keep things off the ground for my little daughter as well. She's like 10 months and she's crawling, so very soon it's over.
Yes. Oh man, I'm almost there. My boy is 8 months, so yep, it's about to happen.
I have no kids, and my toys are my kids. That's what happened. I just kept putting money into. So nothing is off the ground. I literally have toys everywhere here and at the bottom right here, and glass displays, and everything is well within the reach of a toddler if one ever so chooses to hang out at the casa, which I am petrified of. My partner has a lot of nieces and nephews, and I'm always just like, can we wait till they're a little bit older for them to come hang out here?
Yeah, might have to wait a little bit.
Just a little.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, Mega Ran, thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, man.
Of course, yo.
I usually tend to do the typical interview aspects. I like to start off at the beginning or have the guests start off at the beginning and just kind of gradually tell their story. So, you do what they call nerdcore rap.
And, yes, I do.
And I'd like to just from your opinion, how'd you get started in that specific genre? I know you had you're obviously a hip hop fan prior, and you made music, you did beats, but the specific genre, what landed you, and how'd you discover it?
I mean, it discovered me. I was already working. I always say we were operating parallel, like we're on the same highway, or I guess we're going in the same direction. And someone stopped us and was like, "Hey, man, you gotta do a nerdcore." And I was like, "What's that?" And so it led me there. I did a side project in the mid 2000s about Mega Man, which is called Mega Ran, and I put it out on MySpace back in those days. That was the place to hang out.
Oh yeah.
And it kind of blew up. Some people listened to it, and then IGN was profiling it, and I was just like, wow, this is cool. And to me, it was just a side project. It was something similar to what MF Doom had done. Del the Funky Homo Sapien, Doom went from Zev X to Doom. Del went from Del the Funky Homo Sapien to part of Deltron 3030.
Yeah.
So I was just like, that's kind of my thing. I went from random to Mega Ran, and initially it was going to be a side project, and then it just really started to kind of permeate all of my being, as nerd culture does, it's everywhere for me. But I've noticed that I was kind of hiding that side of me and maybe suppressing it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Closeted nerds. I'm sure we all know the deal.
We're
especially,
all doing it.
Especially people of color. We know it very well. Yeah. Having to live up to these ridiculous stereotypes and aspirations, and and covering up parts of ourselves to do so. And I was definitely one of those kids who was like, man, I'm not into that stuff like that. But then secretly, comic books, cartoons were my entire life, and
you were speaking my entire,
that's both of us.
Yeah.
That's that. It's good to know that I wasn't the only one going through these things. At the time, you feel like you're the only one. No one's gonna understand. I'm just a big nerd, but secretly trying to, be athletic and do these other things and be cool.
Try out for the basketball team, even though you don't want to be on the basketball team.
Yeah, right? Like I'm trying. I'm doing sports. I'm doing all these other things just to try to show people that I'm not totally a nerd, but secretly, yes, I am. So it took, honestly, I say it in my book, but it was Wu-Tang, Protect Your Neck, that kind of got me going, where I was like, oh, wow, you can be a nerd and love hip hop, because clearly these guys are nerds. Like,
right.
The kung fu references, the very first verse, I think it's Inspector Deck, swinging through your town like a neighborhood Spider-Man. And I was like, that's it. Like they're speaking my language. They're me, and what's so funny? I don't think the Wu has ever like referred to it, or if someone would, Wu-Tang, I mean, I don't know. Various Wu-Tang members would probably beat you up if you called them nerds. But I feel like, you got to be nerdy about this stuff to really adopt kung fu, culture. Yeah. Like they have the martial arts, the code names, the comic book names, the Tony Starks, all the cool stuff they were doing. It was right up my alley. So, I was like, man, they're speaking my language. I can do this. And so I'll never forget, I was rapping at a Sean Price show. I was opening for Sean Price. Rest in peace.
I have a statue right here.
Yeah. Nice. Another great, intersection of, comics and hip hop culture, Sean P, with all the references he would make, So, opening for P, and then a friend, or not even a friend, just somebody in the crowd, I was like, oh man, what am I going to play? And somebody in the front row was like, play the Mega Man joint. And I was just like, oh, I can't play the Mega Man joint in a crowd like this. And they were like, yeah, man, play the. I was like, you guys don't know about no Mega Man, do you? And they were like, yeah. And they like went crazy. And I was just like, oh, all right, well, let's do it. And so I played the Mega Man joint again and again, like the Wu-Tang skit. And that's kind of where it came and started for me, where I was like, oh, I could be fully comfortable. I could be my full self no matter any arena I'm in, So I think that show, I thank Sean P for being like really dope. Him and Reef the Lost Cause played that show with me, and it was like a really great night. And man, like, and that showed me like, yo, there isn't as much separation. Like, we're all hip hop kids who grew up around the same nerdy stuff, the same cartoons, the same comics, the same, anime, everything. And it's not that different. So when people call it nerdcore, I was like, I mean, I understand you have to give it a name to, for people to understand what it is or where it's going to go. But they didn't call Sean P nerdcore. They didn't call Wu-Tang nerdcore.
I was just going to say, it's funny that certain rappers who regularly make references in the same way, and just, I guess because they're not doing it on every track, don't count as nerdcore. But I would consider some of those original songs the genesis of nerdcore, right? Like any of those rappers back in the day who were name dropping Spider-Man, making Hulk references, all that stuff. I used to go to original hip hop lyric archive for all the nerds back in the day.
Yo, me too.
And you just search, like, I remember searching for just like references to like Fantastic Four and finding all the songs with Fantastic Four. So when I used to host my hip hop show back in the day at CJLO, the radio station here in Montreal, I would do a whole segment dedicated to like nerd references and just playing all the rap songs with those references. And then another week it would be all X-Men, and another week and it was just fun because there's so many songs with it.
That's dope. Yeah, there was so many, man, and like I had to start learning that, luckily through the internet and being able to search up lyrics and things like that. That helped me out a lot to just to learn that we're not alone. We're all students of this stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I think nerdcore is something that you have to self-identify with, I believe, from what I've heard from people. You have to call yourself nerdcore in order to be considered it, so MF Doom or guys like that haven't. But I've actually heard Childish Gambino say the word nerdcore on a record, just wasn't in a nice way. He said F nerdcore, and it made me feel like oh, he knows who he exists. Yeah, I like that. You know, that's a win. You know, I just think for him, he was just being like, yo, I don't exist within a subgenre. Like, I do this thing, you know. So sometimes it takes a harsh statement like that so people don't connect you to something like that, you know. But
I mean, when he first started, I remember I used to always, because people used to always say to me like, yo, what do you think of Childish Gambino? Like, you're a hip hop like nerd, you're a nerd, like, and I originally I was just like, I don't know, he's kind of this frat boy slash faux nerd slash is he a real nerd? Like, I wasn't sure about the vibe he was putting out and stuff. And then he would also make references to, like, you know, one song's about him talking about being scared and having a screwdriver under the pillow because they were growing up in a rough neighborhood. And then 2 songs later, getting blowjobs from Asian co-eds, and you're like, what? Like, okay, we're going a little like, Nas Uchiwali slash.
Like, is it Uchiwali or is it one Mike?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been both for him. I'm sure once he went to college, things got, you know, easier for him.
Yeah.
You know, I have a friend actually, my boy Chaz Kangas, who has a video of him freestyling with Childish Gambino in the dorms. Somewhere in New York. Where did he go to school? St. John's or I don't know, but he has videos of them like as little kids, young kids freestyling in the dorm, and I was like, oh, that's so cool.
That's wild.
But yeah, man, I didn't like Childish Gambino when he first started off. I guess I was kind of like you, Brian. I was like, not that I was being kind of gatekeepy, like, oh, is he a real nerd? I just thought he sounded like a bad Lil Wayne impression. So for that, I was like, not a fan. Like, this guy's got to find his own sound, you know. And I think and he would probably say the same thing looking back, you know. Like,
I think he's admitted that when he started, he didn't know what he was trying to do with it at first.
Yeah, I mean, it showed, you know, it was clear. Like, I was like, he doesn't know who he is, you know, so I can't get behind this. And later, you know, he definitely found himself and got so much more creative and cool with the stuff he was doing. But yeah, like, it wasn't like, oh, he's not a real nerd. I just didn't like what he was doing.
Yeah.
You know. But yeah, there are guys that could totally fit into that, you know, where I think the rap industry would probably call them like corny. So there's probably guys like Logic, you know what I mean, who like get a lot of like hate from the hip hop heads, you know, who likes anime, likes video games, you know. It's a good rapper.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's true. No one gives Megan any. I mean, I don't know.
Do you think it's because she's a black woman rapper that she can love anime and people are just like, oh my god, a woman who loves anime, and they're just cool with it?
Probably. But there's nothing corny about Megan Thee Stallion.
Big fact.
Like, there's just nothing corny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like she's cool. She dresses great. Like, everything about her is like the coolest, you know, like she looks like a person you want to hang out and party with. Logic, not so much. You know what I mean? Like, not dissing.
No. But, I know exactly what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't look like a guy you want to hang out with. Like, he doesn't seem very fun. Like, I probably don't seem super fun, like, in that context. So, yeah, you know, like, that's funny. But I think that people, and I've talked to friends about it, like, when you embrace kind of a subgenre, a subculture, and try to bring it to hip hop, you will be kind of hated for it, you know, or maybe ignored or overlooked or things like that. We talk about another guy who gets a lot of the corny label, who I'm a huge fan of, is Wale.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Wale.
You know
but then
I mean?
With Wale, he has a subgenre where people also embraced it for, which is he loves wrestling.
Yeah, but I think when he started off, he was the sneakerhead rapper.
That is true.
And so many people probably looked at that as a gimmick and was like, you know, you can't be, you know, but he was the first guy who was talking about, you know, really cool sneakers and things like that and making that a part of his brand and his lifestyle. And I don't think people like that. When you start bringing in something different, people are like, just keep it to the raps, man. You know, I don't know. Hip hop, we have so many unwritten rules that it's really unfair. You know what I mean? Like we get all these like unwritten rules, like, oh no, you're not supposed to like these things. Well, you can like them, but you just can't put them into your music. Oh, but you can put them into your music, but you just can't like take pictures with the people who do them. You can't like do songs with the people who do. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's like all this weird, you know, these weird rules that pop up in and out of the culture that you know it keeps people from kind of really innovating. And I don't know. But anyway,
good question.
Why do you feel?
Oh, okay.
Sorry. To add with that.
Yeah.
Why do you feel that certain subgenres are more accepted than others? So you'll have people that'll get blasted for anime, but then West Side Gun Conway and most other rappers, Wale, can make all the, you know, Bam Bam Bigelow references, Stone Cold references they want. Like it's very like WWE's okay, but everything else is like we're gonna bash you for it, or like, you know what I mean?
I don't know, but is it? I don't know. Well. Again, West Side Gun is cool. Like the guy, like very super fashionable. He's a you know, a guy I would consider a friend. So I mean, very fashionable and very knowledgeable. Like he's a legit fan, you know. Right. And I don't know. I think it's like, and I hate to use this example, but this is a terrible example. I probably shouldn't use it. It's like non-black people using the N-word, right?
Hey.
Okay, so this should never happen. However, it does happen now. And there are some situations where people that are non-black will be like, yo, I've said it all my life around people that grew up saying it, calling me it, and it's what it is. So I'm gonna just say it, you know? And nobody stops them or, you know, really checks them on that, because it's just, you know, like it's a level of extreme confidence. And so I do think that, you know, that's a weird example, but I think that West Side Gun and what he does is like he does it with an extremely high level of confidence. And therefore I don't know, but I got friends who say, man, I'm not into the wrestling stuff, but I like West Side Gun. Like, he's cool. He got a great voice. I like his music. I like his beats, but I don't know any of the wrestling stuff he's saying, you know? So there are people who can just kind of overlook those things. Right. I don't know how people can get away with, some people rather, can get away with embracing their fandoms. Oh, that's a good question, though. I don't know.
I was going to ask you, which culture do you think gatekeeps more, hip-hop or nerd culture?
Dang. Why not both? I don't know, man. I think nerd culture, to be honest, like it's so much worse. Like Star Wars, anyone?
Oh yeah. We were just talking about
it's literally the most toxic fandom that there is. So I think it's like, but think about it though. Let's just imagine a rapper comes out and says, I'm the Star Wars rapper. He starts instant hate. Probably from both sides, you know.
As soon as you said it, I was already mad. I was like, no.
Yo, the Star Wars rapper who's just like, yo, I'm just about to, you know, drop nothing but Star Wars references. I'm gonna retell all these trilogies, and that would be instant hate on both sides. Like, I feel like both parties' heads would explode with hate. Like, their fingers would break typing on their keyboards. Like, there would be so much hate that they would just like blow that person off the face of the earth.
The wild part though is I feel like we would hate them, but if you listen to the song and you hear certain references, you'd be like, I hate this fucker, but that shit's tight. Like you know, referencing like really random
if you pull out like really minute stuff, like you're like, okay. Honestly, that's the thing with hip-hop that that's why I say nerd fandom is more toxic. Hip-hop, yo, if you're dope, you're dope.
Yeah,
like that's kind of it with rap. Like, if you can rap, we'll accept you. I mean, come on, look how hard the industry has tried, or not the industry, but just hip-hop heads have tried to hate on Drake. You know what I'm saying? Like, from the moment Drake has begun his career, like, if it was up to the hip-hop gods, he would not have been allowed. You know what I mean? Like, look at the pedigree coming from like a television show, Canadian, and like with a huge influence of R&B. Like, that's 3 strikes, you're out. You know what I'm saying? Like, 3 strikes, you're out. Like, the hip-hop gods would have cast out Drake. You know what I mean? So if you're good at it, man, like, anything's possible, you know?
That's right.
But I think the other way though, it doesn't work. Like Star Wars, I think what people are trying to do, and I don't know if I'm sure you guys have talked about it, but the latest Star Wars controversy and the Obi-Wan, the third sister, and and how everyone's just has such a serious issue with this character, and but like character development, acting, casting, and scripts have never been a strong suit of Star Wars. like this has just never been a thing, you know what I mean? Like we've always had kind of dry, bland characters until they get kind of fleshed out, and bad dialogue. Like it's just been a part of this. It's been a part of this series since the 70s. So, but now like this is egregious, and it just happens to be a black woman who plays a human black woman on this planet. Like, come on, man. Like, it's Star Wars. It's in space, bro.
And
like,
she's not even that bad.
It's so hypocritical.
It is, and no one will ever admit what it is. They're just like, no, it's just bad. It's bad writing. It's bad writing, bro. They just gave her a bad character, and I'm like,
I don't know.
Where was the Jar Jar hate? You know what I mean? When I was on the Jar Jar hate train, big time. But I don't know. But you're right. It's super hypocritical, man.
Man, so you got into Nerdcore, Nerdcore found you.
Yes. I don't know if I finished that story. I was I was making nerd raps about Mega Man, and then I got asked to play San Diego Comic-Con, and there's like I went from 0 to 100 with my nerddom. Like I went from reading about Comic-Con in Marvel books to attending as a freaking guest of Capcom. Talk about living the dream. I was just like, yo, what? So Capcom heard the music. They were like, man, we're doing this big Mega Man thing. You should come. And I was like, okay. Your record's kind of, making some waves online. So come through. And I was like, okay. Came to San Diego, my first time on the West Coast, and had a great time. And just was blown away. Like, it's bigger than life. So everything around me is just, oh man, there's all these characters, TV people. I think who is it that I think hates me? It's Levar Burton. I think Levar Burton hates me because of Comic-Con.
What? Why?
Because I didn't know the protocol of being at Comic-Con. Like I'm just walking around, seeing things, taking pictures, and so I see Levar Burton sitting at a table, doing signing autographs, and I just go up to him with my camera. I'm just like, shit, that's Jordy LaForge. Yo, it's Jordy.
Yeah, no, you're not.
And meanwhile, like my flash is on. So he's like, sir.
Oh, man.
I take like 6 photos of him with the flash on. And he's like, hey, man. Like, could you not flash your camera at me? Like, I'm sitting here. I'm trying to like make money. Like, I'm selling photo opportunities. I was like, Oh, dude, I'm so sorry. Would you like a photo op? I was like, no, thanks. But thank you. Now I know. And I just left. I was like, I'm not paying you for a photograph. But now I look back, I'm like, I've paid for photos since then. I paid for Goldberg because I'm a huge Goldberg mark. And who else did I pay for? I paid for Sting.
Amen, brother. That's great.
You know what I mean?
He's my guy.
Yeah.
He's my
There's
guy.
only a few that I would pay money for, but I think looking back, I'd pay for LeVar Burton now. I would.
Yeah.
At that time, I was just taking it all in.
I'll tell you my LeVar story. LeVar Burton came to Montreal and tweeted that he was doing a Montreal tweet up, and then when I tweeted at my friends asking if he had updated, he tweeted back at me and my friend saying, see you guys later, and then recognized me when he walked into the venue. So I was just like, holy crap. Like, he as he walked in, he yelled out my tag on Twitter, and I was just like, yo, full on. So I walked up. What are the odds? Dude, it was a crazy night. But the one thing that kind of threw me was a little bit later, and I hope he doesn't mind me telling this story. But remember, we're in Montreal, so it's a lot of French Canadians who don't know who he is. And so we're outside, and first of all, I didn't know LeVar smoked. So I step outside with LeVar as he's having a smoke. He's having a smoke, and these 2 very attractive French Canadian girls are walking down the street, and LeVar's just like, hey, can you just say hi to them for me? So I start talking to these girls in French, and then Levar is having me translate, and I'm trying to explain to these girls that he's from Reading Rainbow. And these two French Canadian girls are like, c'est quoi le Star Trek? Like, they didn't know what it was.
Oh man!
And I'm like, Reading Rainbow. They're like, c'est quoi Reading Rainbow? Je connais pas Reading Rainbow. C'est quoi ça? And I'm just like, it was like, so I start referencing French kids shows like c'est comme Passepartout. It's like Passepartout.
No, you didn't do that. You didn't compare Reading
Passepartout-
Rainbow to Passepartout.
Passepartout is a French Canadian like kids education program. And I'm like, it's like that show, but with him reading books to kids. And they're just like, okay. No. And then the girls are like, salut, and they just walk off. And Levar
oh man, no, that's an amazing story. I'm sure he would remember that.
Just feeling himself because he was just having a few drinks, and but it was just funny. It was fun. It was a fun night.
That's hilarious, dude. That's amazing. Way better than my story. That's such a good story.
I got to tell him how much I appreciated him too, which was fun.
Nice.
I want to get into the gritty Shredder's Revenge, right? Because we had met before and we didn't touch on the game, but I knew you were a gamer, so I just had vibes. But then the night the game's supposed to come out, like everybody else on Twitter, I'm waiting for it, and I put it out like I'm giving PSN till 1 a.m. And then I see you tweeting saying that it's something's coming. And I'm like, what's Rand talking about?
I was basically saying I was waiting too. Like that's basically what I was doing. I did the Stone Cold gif of me looking at the watch because I was waiting to play. Like I was so hyped about this game. Like, and I still am. Like I've put in 15, 20 hours already at this point, and like I really love it. But the hype has been so real. So even if I were not a part of it, we didn't get to the actual the main part of that story is that I was lucky enough to do a song for the soundtrack, and I don't believe stuff like that until I hear it. You know what I mean? Like there's so many times where I've recorded songs for people, signed, sealed, delivered, even gotten paid, and then they're like, we just couldn't use it. Last minute cut. Sorry, it just happens. That's tough break in the business, kid. And it's just over. And then I'm just like forced to sound like a liar. Like, no, I wrote something for this. I really did. And
it exists.
Yeah.
So I noticed you weren't saying anything regarding that. Like,
I wanted it to be a surprise, and because I wanted to surprise myself too. And my song doesn't come to the end, so I wouldn't hear it until the end. But luckily the soundtrack leaked. No, I think it was IGN who actually leaked that I was a part of it, and in their review. And the way they did it was the best way possible. They were like, the soundtrack is so great. It has some really heavy hitters on it, like Ghostface Killer and Mega Ran.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, they literally did that. Like back. I'm like, okay.
I was like, heavy hitters like Ghostface and Mega Ran. Like, what? I'm a heavy hitter, And that was really cool. Like, that was the best way they could have possibly even leaked it. It wasn't just like the soundtrack has blah 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 Mega Ran blah 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 blah. They just did it in a really cool way. So that was awesome. So people knew I was on it, but they just didn't know where or how. And so I didn't want to say anything. I just wanted people to play through the game and find it. And so in the hours and days after that, man, I've been getting blown up. Like every day, man, my Twitter has been on fire with somebody who discovers that I'm on this game and they get surprised. Like, oh my God, I heard your voice. I was so excited. So shout out to T. Lopes, the producer, the composer who did a bang up job, and the entire soundtrack is fire. It really brings that feeling back. If you're a kid who was my age who remembers spending all your money on Turtles in Time and the Turtles games, it really feels like that again. Like I was streaming it and man, I almost brought a tear to my eye. Like it just felt good, man. It was just like, this feels great. Like the controls are really awesome. 6-player is chaotic fun.
It's a little nuts, right?
It's a little nuts.
It's
like
a little crazy. Like 4
it
players,
is,
I'm good. But
4 is probably the max. I was like, they didn't really need to do 6. I mean, it's cool that they did, but they didn't have to. Like that could have been DLC or something. I don't know, a 6-player mode. But yeah, man, I love it. But I was given the alley-oop of a lifetime, And it's funny. I said this maybe 3-4 years ago. The same kind of similar thing happened with Mortal Kombat 11, where the composer Will Roger hit me up in the DM, was like, hey man, like, would you want to rap on this? And I was like, yes, because the ending theme is phenomenal in that game. And so this kind of happened that same way, where T hits me up and is like, dude, can you rap on this? I want that feeling of like the 90s, like Ninja Turtles, you know, movie, and like Vanilla Ice. And I was like, oh man, I don't know if I can do that. And then I heard the track and I was like, yeah, I can do that.
I can do that.
Dope. I was like, I can do that. You know, so yeah. It's called It's a Pizza Party.
It's a pizza bar. I love it. Who's your go-to character in the game?
Oh man, Donatello, of course, is my dude. Now, but since I've been playing it a lot though, and like you gotta play other characters and power up, Michelangelo is a problem.
Yeah.
So is Casey Jones. You know,
I haven't gotten him yet, but I will.
Casey's really dope, and Raph is the most powerful.
He is.
So he's the strongest, but he has the least range. So Raphael is a really good pick.
But their uppercuts are good. I feel him and Mikey's uppercut slash like that, you know.
Yeah, that rising uppercut is like kind of the cheat code. Yeah, you can just bounce through the whole game through that. Yeah, man. I really love it. Have you guys gotten like a 200 hit combo or anything like crazy like that?
I got 136 the other day. Oh. But it's because I got a rat catcher. I got it in the corner and I was like, I'm just not letting go. And then I got to like 130, and then I was scouring to get to a foot soldier, and I was about to hit my next guy, and then like, you know, when there's like that foot soldier that jumps out, like they're not in the panel, they're like preparing outside.
Oh, they jump out. Yeah,
they jump in. Yeah,
like, I'm about to go to like 137, and he robbed me. I'm like, no, why? Like, why?
It's always so heartbreaking. But I do love that you can kind of just juggle dead guys, you know, and kind of spam your hit counter.
Really, really great. One more thing, because we are all wrestling fans here except for Brian, but I don't know if this happened the same way, but the Xavier Woods entrance music. How? Ooh. Which, by the way, a friend of mine, shouts to Sazy. I believe Sazy out in Toronto is also on that track. He's a friend of mine and other hip hoppers that I deal with out in Canada. So that track, Xavier Woods, how?
Okay, so I guess this story starts a long time ago. Like most of my stories. Maybe 2015, 14, 15.
I thought you were going to say 20 years ago.
No. 2014, 15, I get an email from a guy. He's like, my name is Austin and I'm a wrestler and I'm trying to do my thing. But I work in this company, FCW, Florida Championship Wrestling, and they've allowed us to like pick our own entrance music. And so the reason why I'm emailing you is because I searched Mega Man music and I found your music, and I'd love to come out to one of your songs. And I was like, what? Sure. Like, that's already a dream for me. Like, whether it's a small venue or a big one, someone using my music as entrance music, yes. So I'm like, you absolutely can. Thanks, man. And then we do it, and then like 2 weeks later, I get a message from him. He's like, hey, I just need you to sign off some paperwork on that. You know, you said yes, but just want to make sure you sign something. I was like, oh, okay. Send me a paper with WWE on the top of the letterhead. And I was like, what's up there? He's like, oh yeah, WWE bought FCW and they're going to turn it into this thing called NXT. I don't know where that's gonna go, but we'll see what happens. And I was like, oh wow, cool. So that's like right in the beginning of all this stuff. Now at this time I wasn't really watching wrestling, so I was just kind of, but I was definitely watching Austin at this time. So so you know, he's doing this thing in NXT and he gives me this idea even while he's in NXT about the New Day. Like, he's like, man, I'm gonna do this thing, hopefully I can get Kobe Kingston involved. He's like, I don't know if I can, but I want to try this thing. And that's like, so cool. And like, just seeing the beginning of that. And then he hits me up one day. He's like, dude, I'm making it to Monday Night Raw. It's gonna happen, you know. And then he goes to Raw, and then slowly, I think he's teaming with R-Truth, and then all these other things happen, and then they do it, the New Day, and then it works. And so they win a whole bunch of tag team championships, and stuff is going, and we hang out occasionally at events. And when he would introduce me to people, or wrestlers too, he'd be like, man, Mega Ran, he makes great music. Like, one day he's going to do my entrance theme, you know? And he would say those things. And I was like, all right, man, don't say that. Like, I'm going to hold you to that. And so he called me. I was on tour. So this must have been the week before, because he won the King of the Ring in Saudi, right? I think. Yeah. They ended the tournament in Saudi. So before they went on that trip, he was like, hey, I think they're about to put the crown on me. And I was like, what, for real? He's like, yeah. And so I gave them like a 5-page plan of what I was going to do with King of the Ring. And one of them includes new music. And I was like, oh, nice. So who's going to do your music? And he was like, you, man.
I love that you're talking to who's going to do the music.
I'm like, maybe West Side Gun. I don't know. So yeah, he's like, you, man. He's like, I got this idea because I love this rapper Sazy. You got to meet him. He's great. And he introduced me to Sazy. You know, Sazy had that Razor Ramon song really cooking that he loved. And so he's like, yeah, man. So when I get back, we'll talk about it. So next thing you know, I get an email from one of their producers like, here's a beat. Here, let's do it. And so we write it, and man, I swear I recorded it on a Wednesday, and the guy's like, all right, now can you just sign the paperwork? And I was like, yeah, I'll sign the paperwork. I'm just driving home from the studio. He's like, yeah, I need you to do it like really quickly. And I was like, okay, I'm driving, but I'll do it. Yeah, just as soon as possible. Okay. I'm like, all right, I get it to him like 7 p.m. West Coast time, so it's late. And sure enough, Friday Night SmackDown, the music plays. I was like, that's why he needed it so soon. Like they had it was already going. Like it was a go. And
that's so cool.
Yeah, I was just like, whoa, that's my music. Oh my God. You know, and I'm flipping out. And kind of the same experience with Turtles where people were texting me like, oh my God, that sounds like you. Like, what's happening? Oh my God, did you, what? Oh my God, you did that? Yes. And I'm like, yeah, man, it was insane. Like, but that stuff comes together so fast. I got the beat Monday. I recorded Tuesday. It was on TV Friday. You know, wow. And that stuff goes really fast in that company. And I mean, if I can be honest, I haven't heard it in a while. So again, things go and come very quickly in WWE.
That is true.
So, you know, I don't know what's happening with that, but, you know, I'm just really honored to have been a part and to be a part of WWE history. Like I'm canon somewhere. I don't know.
Yeah, dude.
It's
yeah,
like
great.
I'm in the universe.
But then on the other side of it, you're also a part of the AEW musical project.
I am. I'm a free agent. I get to bounce
you just
around.
Get to bounce around and do your thing.
Yeah, until somebody locks me down. I mean, you know, Tony or Vince. I mean, holla. But as of right now, I am a free agent. So therefore, I'm able to do music for both sides. So we made a song for Black History Month. They did a project, Who We Are. And shout out to Mikey Ruckus. He hit me up and a ton of other great artists and was like, we want you to do your thing. Like, we're not going to take any control of this. We want you to make a song that you feel comfortable with about a wrestler. And so he gave me a list of a couple guys. So I'm on there 3 times. I did a verse for Scorpio Sky. I did a verse for Anthony Ogogo. And then we did a song for Brandy Rhodes. And the Scorpio song is like now his theme song.
No way.
You know, so yeah, the song he comes out to is the song that I'm on. So at some point, I was on 2 shows. I was pulling a Rick Rude.
Yeah, I was about to say.
That's a very, very much niche wrestling reference that a few people will get. Pulling a Rick Rude. Has anybody else done that? Popped up on both shows same night?
He did both shows?
He did both shows. There's actually a female wrestler that recently did AEW and WWE, actually. I forget her name, though.
How did he get away with
in the same night?
Shows?
In the same night? No.
Same week. Same week. Sorry, same week. Because the shows weren't on the same night, I don't think.
I'm so intrigued by how he got away with doing both shows. But anyways, that's a whole
one was pre-recorded, and he was technically still employed, and then he got hired and went live on the other show.
Okay, gotcha.
So there wasn't a 90-day thing back then where you couldn't pop up on another show. No non-compete clause.
Yeah.
And
that's the reason why.
I would imagine.
Speaking of non-compete clauses, that's the reason that I didn't get to see Kofi Mania come to a head live in person. I was in New York, but I did a song for Ring of Honor and for their Supercard of Honor show. And I wrote a song, and they had a program in mind for me with Bully Ray. And so, I got in the ring with Bully. I don't know if you saw this. It's not my best moment, but we did it started off in the anniversary show in like October. And basically, I would come out to rap this song. It's called Going to the Garden because they were going to Madison Square Garden. And Bully Ray would interrupt me and then like threaten me. You know, it's kind of what he does. So he's like, man, get out of here. Rap sucks, you know. And then they were like, well, since Mega Ran didn't get to complete his song, we're going to have him come do it at Madison Square Garden. And I was like, what?
Oh,
and I was like, well, ROH, I'm super honored to do this, but I am on tour. And they were like, oh, well, we'll fly you from where you got to go. I was like, well, I'm on a UK tour.
Oh, no.
And they flew me from the UK to New York. So the exchange on that, of course, is, well, just don't be popping up on no other competitor shows.
Yeah.
So I was happy to do it, and I had a blast.
I mean, dude, they flew you from the UK to New York to perform at Madison Square Garden.
It was great. And then I got beat up. I got like hit with a chain, and it was great. But yeah, I mean, best thing in my life was talking strategy with Bully Ray, you know, because he knows I'm not a wrestler, and he's like, you know, I don't really know what I'm going to do in that ring. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, I'm going to do whatever I have to do to get the response I want. And I'm like, wait, what does that mean? That's kind of scary.
Just don't blade me, please.
And he's like, I was like, oh, well, you know, he's like, you're in New York. It's my town. It's my territory. They're going to want me to kill you. And I was like, well, that's true. I mean, I understand wrestling psychology. Well, put me through a table or something. I don't know. He's like, well, you didn't sign a waiver. I can't do that. We don't know. Like, we can't have you take bumps. And I was like, well, all right. So I come out, I do my song, and he interrupts, and he pushes me down like a little shove, you know. And I was just like, we didn't rehearse what was supposed to happen. Like, I just know I have to get out of the ring so they can start some other feud. He pushes me down. I guess it was on a much smaller scale. It's like WrestleMania 14 with Kane beats up Pete Rose. It's kind of like that, right? So I was the Pete Rose in this situation. I come to the ring. I'm like, and me knowing rap, knowing what I do and knowing what I love, like wrestling, I should have known this was not going to go well. So the moment I come down to the ring, I'm like, hey guys, I love pro wrestling. I'm going to do a song I wrote. Boo! Like instantly 20,000 people booing the crap out of me. This is on pay-per-view somewhere if you can find it, but booing the bejesus out of me. And I'm like, I'm going to just do a song for you guys and get out of the way. Boo! You suck. Like before I even start a beat. So I start doing the song. Bully Ray comes out. They cheer. You know what I mean? It's what they do. It's what wrestling fans do. They want him to kill me because they think that's the part of the show. Like now I'm supposed to get thrown through a table or whatever, like just beat up. But we couldn't do that. So I was just like, I got to take a beat down, but also like not take a beat down. And get out of the ring. So he shoves me down.
Selling it?
No, we didn't practice anything.
Damn. Okay.
Which was a very dangerous moment, you know. And now I'm realizing that. But anyway, we had like 10 minutes to talk about this before the show started. And so he shoves me down. And then I think this show was just massively overbooked anyway. Like if you watched it, you would see like there's a lot going on. Yeah. So somehow this is supposed to lead to an open challenge from Bully and then like 4 people coming down and starting this big, massive hardcore match. But I have to get out of the way first before that to happen. So he shoves me down and I was like, well, this is my time to roll on out of the ring and get out of here. And then I was like, you know what? This is Madison Square Garden. I'm never going to get a chance to do this again.
Oh, God.
I at least have to stand up to the Bully. Like in my mind, knowing what I know about wrestling and storytelling, yo, like, doesn't the Bully supposed to get his comeuppance? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so in my mind, maybe he'll understand that too and just give me something. Like, he's not gonna let me beat him up, but like, give me a moment to I don't know.
Like,
so
just push him on the shoulder and be like, you can't treat me like this, man.
You
like,
can't. Yes. Yeah. So I jump up and I'm like, enough's enough, and I get into his face, and we're just like this. Oh, God. And the crowd is like, ooh. And the whole crowd swells up and like, okay, he's showing some heart. And I just wanted them to all get their photos and just to have a moment where I'm standing up to the Bully. That's all I wanted. And I think he said under his breath, kind of like a you know, a ventriloquist. He was like, "Are you done?" And I was like, what? And then he just like shoves me again into the corner. And like he starts running at me, and he's wearing a chain around his neck, and he takes the chain off of his neck while he's running at me. And I'm like, oh, we didn't rehearse this. I'm out of here. And so I try my best to slide under the bottom rope. I'm no athlete, man. I ain't done this stuff, you know. So it's like I said, not my finest moment. Yeah. So I'm trying to slide out, and look from the replay, he hits me with the chain. I didn't feel it, the adrenaline, you know, whatever. Oh. But like he swings. I was like, yo, he swung his chain at me. Like this dude was trying to hurt me. Like, I don't know. So, but again, he told me beforehand, like, I'm gonna do what I gotta do to get the reaction I need to get, you know, and to move on with the program. So yeah, he swung the chain, he catches me across the back, I roll out the ring, and like somebody helps me to the back or whatever. And the people are just like, yeah, and they're just like cheering and like loving it, and fans are all in my ear like, oh, I bet you wish you wasn't going to the Garden now. You suck. You know, and man, it was just amazing. So
dude, that sounds like an incredible
that sounds really
fun. It was fun now to look back, but I was pretty scared. Like, but that's yeah, and that's funny. I've had people, that's funny, I had like people on Twitter like hating on me, being like, you no-soul Bully Ray, like you're a terrible person, like you no-souled a legend. And I'm like, no-souled? What do you mean?
Yeah,
like,
he pushed me down and hit me with a chain.
He totally shoved me, he tried to hit me with a chain, like he tried to kill me, dude. Like, and I didn't feel it, so I didn't know. I guess how was I supposed to sell the chain hit, like as if I was like dead or something? I don't know. But yeah, man, that was fun.
I love that it's a no-sold, even though you got pushed down twice. It's like,
yeah, I get punked the entire time, but it's like because I didn't like lay there and writhe in pain from like a chain hit. You know what I mean?
That I'm watching
nobody wanted to see that.
Young Rock, and he's doing the whole his dad training him about like selling. I understand what people are kind of expecting, like. You know, the actor playing his dad does a really good lesson of like, you're not selling for the kids in the front row. You're selling for the kid in the back row who couldn't afford to get the tickets for the front row. That's who you're selling to. You want that kid to feel your pain. And I mean that, like, when you got pushed down, whether or not you meant to, that kid in the back row saw that push down and saw you, and then saw you get up, stand up for yourself, which again, I respect that, because it is Madison Square Garden, one of the most famous venues in the world that you got to be in the ring at, which is fucking epic to say.
Yeah, it's like
then you got knocked down again, like you're supposed to. And that's it.
You got a program with a Hall of Famer. That's amazing,
dude,
man. Who here can say that?
A lot of folks can say that. I just felt like I don't know why I wanted to win. I guess I felt like, you know, yeah, man, like I'm supposed to win, right? And then like, no, like it doesn't work that way. Like I'm not supposed to win, you know. So,
as much of a face as you are, you don't get to win.
Nah, you can't win all the time, you know. And I get it, you know. These guys have their reputation to uphold, you know what I mean, and protect. So I get it.
I love that he said to you, "You finish."
Yeah, like he let me get my moment, you know. Yeah. And then he's like, "Yeah, now it's over."
Yeah. You got your 15 seconds of fame. That's all you're getting.
That's all I got. I got some good photos out of it.
That's awesome. That is so cool. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I'm going to ask him about Miles Morales' Thor.
Oh, God, no, please.
Yeah, I tweeted you today about that.
If you guys want to talk about something else first.
No, you can rap with Miles Morales' Thor.
We can rap with that, because I bought the book. I didn't believe it. Yeah. I was like, I'm buying this book. I need to know for sure. And I went to my local comic shop, and he only had a variant cover left, and it was $10. And I'm like, do I really want to spend $10 on this? Yeah. But I was like, you know what? This is for research. I'm going to mark this. This is going to be a tax deduction or something. Yes. And it's worse than I thought. It's worse. Bad, huh? It's like bad. Every panel is just pure garbage, man. Yeah. All right, so I don't know. You guys want to actually explain this for the folks who may not know?
for anyone out there who doesn't know, recently they've been doing a series of What If with Miles Morales, in which they're reimagining his character, getting different sorts of major powers. So I think he's done Wolverine, he's done Thor,
Captain America.
Did he do Strange? Or am I imagining?
No, there's only 4 so far. This is the 4th one.
So people got, people like the Wolverine one from what I remember. And the Captain America one seems to have gone over well. The Thor one, I already, like, when people first saw the first images and saw graffiti in Asgard. Well, just the first image that I saw where it was just him on the rainbow bridge with graffiti on the side. And so, like, the first thing I saw was someone saying, "Why is there graffiti in Asgard? Is it just because Miles is black? Like, what version of Asgard are we getting?" And I remember thinking, "Oh, this is gonna be bad." And now that the comic's out, everyone is pissed, especially because Homeboy is not black and supposedly has a history of writing in this kind of like Ebonics-esque, like, I'm from the hood, I understand the ghetto, homie.
Oh, does he write jive? Does he speak in jive?
He speaks jive.
He speaks jive. Royal Tenenbaum type. You want to speak some jive with me? I'll speak some jive with you. Like, just like, it's bad.
Oh no.
So with all that said, Megaran tweeted recently, I think today, about it, and this is where we're at.
Why does Mjolnir have graffiti on it?
I don't understand. Like, do you not understand your own character? Like, this is what I don't get. Like, what? You're like, oh yeah, well, you think you like Miles Morales? Well, then check this out. Like, I'm really surprised he didn't just go, no diggity.
Oh no.
You know what I mean? Like, there's all these ridiculously played out hip hop vernacular. I mean, hammer time when he grabs the hammer. Like, give me a break. Like,
he actually did that?
Yeah.
He said that. Every panel is like that. He actually said that. He actually, like, every panel.
Yeah.
It's so bad. Like, the cringe in, I mean, Odin's fade. and then Odin's actually bald and thing, which is, oh my God. Odin's bald, so why do you refer to him having a fade? Like, it's like everybody just like scroll Urban Dictionary, and oh man, I want to like specifically address, and it's weird, man, because this is one of those things where it's like, to quote Jay-Z, I don't want to upset my political connects. You know what I'm saying? Like, 2 months ago, I was on the Marvel podcast, and the episode we did was about What If. You know what I mean? And it was about how much we love the old what ifs. You know what I mean? We talked about so many different ones, like what if Aunt May didn't die, and what if, there were so many good ones. And how like the what ifs back then were kind of sad, because it was like they took that moment to be like, oh, now we can kill characters, because in the 90s, like, that wasn't really a thing. And so every what if ended with like somebody dying, Yeah. And so what if the cosmic suit like never returned, or things like that. So there were some really cool ones. So I talked literally to Marvel people about what we loved about What If. So I was like, oh man, I'm probably never going to be on the podcast again. But this needs to be addressed. This is awful.
They forgot to take notes.
I mean, I really do think that someone let this dude just write. I mean,
he ran wild. That's what it is.
But also there is an editor. That's the thing that
I was about to say. It's like they had no editor.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you can't blame the writer. There's a person above them that approves this. And so how do you let this go? And like, I read, and tell me if this is true, I haven't finished all of the what ifs for this, like the 4 that there are out. They're all written by black writers except this one. Is that what somebody told me that?
That's what I heard. Yeah.
So this is the one that was not written by a black writer, and then they just decide to go hip hop crazy with the lingo.
Hammer time, really?
There's also so this is Odin. If you guys are listening to this at a later date, once again, we always ask you guys to go check us out on twitch.tv/GeektastiqCypha, so you can see what we're talking about right now. We have the comic up on the screen. And like, I remember the first time I saw the picture of the frost giants with the fades and the cornrows, and I was just like, Homie,
what's happening here, man?
Like why? Like this? With the
Why is
with
this
the
fade so
lineup.
nice? That's a really nice fade, though.
It's a great lineup. Like whoever the artist was.
Really nice lineup.
It's
Why'd
a good
you do
lineup.
that?
But why?
Yeah, but like
Yeah, the art isn't bad. But the
I
okay,
feel like
so
Aaron Magruder had something to do with this.
it all feels like a parody. Like this could be a Boondocks episode,
Right?
Yes.
Like,
So I mean, you know, and it's so funny because Marvel is the same spot that did the hip hop crossover covers. Like I have those books. Like Marvel understands hip hop and black culture. Like we were just talking about before, Wu-Tang is Marvel fans. You know, Ghostface is Tony Stark's. Like they all reference like so many. Marvel is definitely the more in my opinion, the more popular house when it comes to hip hop. I feel like there's a lot more Marvel references than there are DC references. I could be wrong. I don't know them all, but I'm saying I think so. At least in the golden era, 90s hip hop, Marvel had a lot of the shout outs.
yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, so to see something like this where it's just like, what is happening? Who over there is letting this stuff happen?
Have you read the writer's comment?
Oh,
today?
Has he reacted?
He has responded. He has reacted.
Please.
Another awkward thing. He follows me on Twitter. That's odd. But
Great.
well, we should
you
chat.
got access. You got access. That's the point, man.
I'm gonna DM him and be like, bruh, why
him,
you
bruh.
do this? Just bruh. All right. So just Yehudi Mercado, who is of Mexican Jewish descent.
Yeah.
Said 8 hours ago, I have taken the last few days to step back and listen, and I acknowledge your criticism for my recent issue of What If Miles Morales Was Thor. While I've lived a different experience through my own Jewish and Mexican background, I still know that inauthenticity hurts, and I'm sorry that this failed on this front. I've appreciated hearing and learning from my Black and Puerto Rican comics peers and hope to use this moment to promote better authenticity. I'm also going to donate what Marvel paid me to the Brooklyn Book Bodega, which works to build literacy and get more books to kids in NYC.
You know what? So, Megaran, much like you said before, much like we've been saying, I very much appreciate this, but I also think, again, he's not solely responsible. So him having to, like, I get it. The company's making him bite the bullet, but and I appreciate it, and I think donating the money is already very nice. I know a lot of other people have done a lot less. It just sucks that he's the only one being put in the spotlight when very much for anyone who knows when it comes to comic books, there is an editor. There is someone above this person who reviews this content before it goes out into the world. And that person also saw this comic and said, homie, we gonna ride. Like
Homie, we gonna ride. Oh, let's not talk about what his initial criticism was to this.
Oh.
Now, I saw people saying it like, oh, he doubled down. And I was like, for real? Okay. A few days ago, someone talked about it and he responded, I should have added more upskirt shots. And I bet you would have loved it.
Oh, no.
Oh,
homie.
Wow,
That's not it.
No, that's not the rebuttal to give. That's not helping the cause.
Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Hope snooze. Hope snooze.
The cringe.
Oh, the cringe is strong with this one.
Yeesh.
You know,
Oh, man.
If Axel Alonso was still there, this would not be happening. I'd just like to point that out. I got to meet him once when I got invited to the Marvel offices. Shout out to my boy Arun, who used to work there and hooked it up. But when I met Axel and I sat and talked hip hop and all that stuff, and I was just like, if Axel was around and he was still editor, because the head editor now is CB, right? Cebulski or something.
I think so.
And that dude, I don't know if you guys know, but that dude has a history where people found out he used to pretend to be an Asian guy. He used to write under an Asian pen name, and everyone found out and got big mad at him and were like, dude, what were you doing? And he was just, and he kind of sidestepped it, but then apologized. And so, you know, he didn't step down, but if he's still in charge and stuff like this is happening under his watch, there's going to be a lot of people being like, is the sensitivity being addressed with someone who has done things in the past? Like, does he have a blind side to this type of stuff? So
problematic.
Oh, yeah, we gotta the rabbit hole may go deeper.
Problematic. We'll reconvene at another time.
I know, eh? This is a whole other conversation.
Man, oh man, Mega Ran, please tell the people where they can find you, tweet you, reach you, send you some DMs, find your music, tell
Oh yeah, well you can get mostly. I hang out on Twitter a lot, so I'm at Mega Ran there. So it is MEGARAN, but the M and the R are capital, so sometimes it looks like Meg Ryan if you're not like really paying attention.
It does.
But it is not Meg Ryan, and sometimes I put that as my name. I may put that back because people are like, I thought that sounded Meg Ryan, ha. But MegaRan.com, and right now there's a special going on my merch. There is a 50% off merch sale on shirts and hats and other stuff like that at MegaRanMerch.com. So you can check that out. I'm always going on tour, so you can see tour dates at megaran.com/shows. But most of the time, I'm hanging out on Twitter, like I said, at Megaran.
Beautiful.
Bong, bong, bong.
Thank you for joining us on GeektastiqCypha. We'll definitely be having you back because I feel like you're just going to be doing more and more and more. We need to talk more wrestling, cartoons, and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We didn't even talk 80s cartoons and 90s cartoons.
Oh my gosh.
We didn't even talk Robotech. I mean,
we didn't. All right. I guess that means I got to come back, huh?
Yeah.
Totally,
so there is. I didn't even talk about that. There's a Robotech album coming out August 5th. So maybe we can come back and talk when that is ready.
Oh, 100%.
Go.
Love to.
Sweet.
Awesome.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you for joining us, man.
Yo, peace, everybody. We appreciate you guys. Make sure you tune into all our stuff. As always, you can check us out on twitch.tv/GeektastiqCypha, and you can hit us up on youtube.com/FreeXAgentsMedia. We are out. We appreciate y'all. Peace, everybody.
Peace.